What's up, Plexus Freedom Team? Y'all, we have the very special Vice President of Research and Development. Is that still the accurate title?
It
The,
is.
the brains behind the Plexus is what I always say. And listen, somebody was asking me yesterday, they were making this graphic and they're like, send me a picture of you and Dr. Hartman to put on the graphic. And I'm like, Dr. Hartman is way smarter than I am. So when I'm around him, my jaw's normally just on the ground and I'm trying to just absorb what you're saying. I remember I met you for the first time when I came to Jewel School back
Yep.
in 2019 maybe, and you were walking us through corporate and like there were like real lab coats and a
Oh
real
yeah.
lab and real scientists. And I just remember thinking, this is legit. Like,
Yeah.
man, it was very cool. So,
People are always surprised when they come in. Like we're just real people doing good stuff
real
and
people.
obviously work great with the field
Yeah.
and that's a big part of why I work at Plexus. Is just having this interaction is great. I have friends that have similar roles for big, like big food companies, PepsiCo type food companies, and they're just kind of tucked away in an office in a lab, and they get like a quarterly sales report to know like, hey, the product we launched last year is doing all right. But Plexus, we get real time feedback. A couple of years ago, Christina, we were backstage at that convention when we reformulated or just increased the amount of protein and lean,
Mhm.
and you were out on stage to kind of promote that, and we chatted for. I mean, just that type of real time feedback is awesome, and a big part of why I do what I do.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate the fact that because you are so intelligent, it allows just regular moms like me who don't actually understand the science. I can confidently say, and I actually did say to someone at convention, they had an objection or a question, and I was like, "Cool, listen, we welcome that question. Let's go find Dr. Hartman. He'll
Yeah,
totally engage with you." And so that just gives me such confidence to be able to share Plexus freely and know that behind all of it, there's so much research and just
yeah,
information. So,
yeah. And
uh,
yeah, happy to answer questions, and people should have questions, right? It's we it's feel free to ask questions. We put a lot of thought and process into what we do from a formulation standpoint, why we choose certain ingredients, the standards we look at, how we substantiate certain products, how we make claims, how we grade certain research studies to make sure that they meet our criteria. So yeah, always happy to explain and talk through some of that. Some of it obviously is, confidential trade
right.
secrets. So, and that's and obviously that's just to protect Plexus and our brand and our identity. And, we filed a patent recently for Slim MBA. And that's something that's intellectual property that is owned. It's an invention of and owned by Plexus. So there are certain things we have to do from a competitive advantage standpoint. We don't want people, trying to copy our formula. So
Sure.
not everything is fully open, but that's to protect the company, and also ultimately protect the legacy of the company. We want to be around. We've been around 16 years and we plan on being around for another 50, 60, 70, 100 years.
Yeah, I love that. So this actually isn't a question I wrote down, but what you just said a minute ago, like we welcome the questions. What do you like? What is it about what you know about Plexus and just science in general that gives you that confidence to where a question or an objection doesn't feel like fearful? How do you just openly receive someone's question without it feeling threatening in some way?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of going through the process, right? So we don't make haphazard decisions on anything. If anything, we tend to be somewhat conservative and we're very slow and methodical in how we approach things. But everything we do is really fueled by data, right? So sometimes that data is review and analysis of the body of research literature, right? So we'll go through literature and we'll make sure that we're making educated decisions based on the entire body of research. And there's always I saw this one study that was done in mice in 1987 that showed this. And it's like, well, that's one study, but there's 900 other studies that show something different. So you don't make and vice versa. There's of those 900, there's probably one that shows something outstanding. But you don't make decisions on the outliers. You make decisions based on the entire body of the research. So if it's from an ingredient standpoint, we're looking at the body of literature. And that's how we can kind of defend these sometimes news stories, mainstream media. It's very sensationalized, and it's like they grab hold of a certain ingredient that showed in a petri dish it did this, and then they translate that out into, well, that's going to cause this, and this. And it's like, well, if you actually look at the research, if you dig into how the study was designed, what they measured, but it's not as extreme as sometimes the mainstream makes it sound. But then the other thing we do is we make really educated decisions. So another interaction we had, Christina, a couple of years ago, you may remember this, when we were developing active blackberry clementine. So
Yep.
this was last year's holiday. You guys who have been at Plexus for a while, you know that we do, limited time only kind of holiday offerings. And again, it's not haphazard, right? We kind of know what flavors are trending. We know what we want to achieve. But we do focus groups. It was either Jewels of Excellence or Rubies on the Rise, where Christina was in with a group of about 50 ladies.
Yeah.
And we literally had the group come in and we put blind samples out in front of them and said, rate which one you like best, and that wasn't the sole decision criteria, but if we are making a decision to launch a product, we want to get feedback from the field. We don't want to just take my opinion or, Bob, who works with me, Robert Metzger, he's our manager of product development. He worked on that project. It wasn't just Bob's opinion or Michael's opinion. It was lots of pieces of data that we looked at across a wide range. And we said, hey, what's on trend? What's on brand for Plexus? What works well with active as a formula? Let's take the feedback from the field, from our, the brand ambassadors, and we put all that together and we come out with a product like that. And we do that for everything. So yeah, always happy to answer questions because there is a methodology behind all of it.
I love that. I think that that's something that the field can kind of take hold of too, is that it's not haphazard. If it's there,
Mm-hmm.
there's an answer and we can find
Yep.
that answer.
And it goes back to what I mentioned earlier about legacy, and we want to be around for a very long time. And the companies that make decisions based on limited information, they're the ones that sometimes they grow very quickly, but then they fade out very quickly. And we want to be here for a long time.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So let's get into the reason. Listen, the reason I'm like, we need Dr. Hartman is because we come back from convention. Restore is a big deal. We've got this
Yeah.
triplex and trim thing going on. And again, I don't pride myself on being the brains. So what I want to know is, why would Restore be a product that somebody would want to take either as a new customer, or maybe they've been here a while? Why would Restore be something that they would want to implement regardless of maybe their personal journey, but just as a whole?
It's a product really designed to support whole body health, like many of our products. But what we do is we find a specific target, and that's how we try to achieve whole body health. So for a product like Restore, it benefits the liver primarily, but there's also additional benefits related to that. So obviously, you guys who've been around, gut health is, founded in gut health. Experts in microbiome is really what we focus on. So we have lots of products that can help support and nourish the gut. What a lot of people don't know is that there's actually a relationship between the gut and the liver. So the gut liver axis is something just like the gut brain axis or the gut skin axis. And that's so much of what we do. Everything we put into our body nutritionally ultimately finds its way to the gut. And diet is one of the largest factors that impact gut health. So that relationship to the gut and the liver can also help confer whole body health. So what we're doing with Restore, the cellular detox blend, and cellular detox just basically recognizes the fact that we put a lot of stress on our liver, right? Our liver does a lot of work. And, for the folks that were at convention, you maybe heard some of the training, and, the liver does 500 things, and all that is true and accurate. But we just kind of take it for granted that the liver serves as a filter in our body. So all the blood that runs through our body ultimately finds its way through the liver, and the liver is what really helps to detoxify, remove toxins, remove things out of the blood that shouldn't be there. So when we talk about cellular detoxification, what we're providing is nutrition to support the health of the liver so that the liver can do its job most effectively. So over time, the liver takes a beating. It's overburdened with some of the things we do, from diet choices, from lifestyle choices, from environmental choices. So by putting great nutrients into our body that can help support the health of the liver, our liver can do its job most effectively. So things like spirulina, spinach leaf concentrate, aloe vera are all ingredients and nutrients that can really help support liver health. And then on top of that, the other components of Restore that add to just the whole body health aspect, the appetite control blend, which, hibiscus, yeast hydrolysate, magnolia, berberine, these are all great ingredients that are going to help how we manage appetite.
Okay.
Appetite, obviously, and food and calories in plays a major impact on body weight and weight management, weight loss. But again, if you're putting the wrong things into your body, that's what also can have an impact on the liver. So hopefully with the appetite control blend, I always say we want you to eat. We just want you to eat the right things in the right amounts, right? So you're not starving when you get to mealtime, so that you can make better food choices. You can put better food, better nutrition into your body, which also relieves some of the stress on the liver. And then we have peppermint and ginger root just to kind of help with digestion support. Those are two ingredients that have a really long history of use, traditional use. Even if you're on an airplane and you get kind of queasy, they bring you some ginger ale. Well, ginger root is something that helps to soothe the stomach. And part of Restore, when we put it together as part of Reset, we wanted to take advantage of all of these things. You're going through a 3-day nutritionally supported fast. These are all unique, novel ingredients that really aren't in any other Plexus products that we wanted to be able to introduce as part of Reset. And then ultimately we heard loud and clear from the field that, hey, this is something they want to use every day. So, we answered that. So it's a great product, great formula. The nutrients are designed to be used every day. Just as part of Reset, we wanted to give Reset a powerhouse that makes Reset work, but obviously that can translate out to daily use or however people want to use it.
I love that. Okay, so because you mentioned that Restore will help with appetite control, is
Mhm.
there a best time to take it? Because I know in the Reset we took it at night.
Yep.
So is it, if somebody needs more support in the appetite area, would taking it morning time be better? Like, is
It definitely could. So as part of Reset, so when you're going through the Reset, it's caloric restriction. You're on a nutritionally supported fast. And then the longest period of time that you go without putting something into your body is that overnight period. So strategically, Reset included Restore in the evening for two reasons. One, the magnolia and berberine kind of help with some stress-related cravings. At night, that's when people find themselves in the kitchen snacking,
okay?
finding that jar of peanut butter and a spoon, at 9 p.m. Like that's a very normal, common thing. But if we can include some nutrients in Restore to help you avoid that, that's going to help, right? So, and overnight, just having that appetite control is definitely helpful. If you're using it on a daily use, find what time works best for you. A lot of people are going to have great continued success using it in the evening, just like during the Reset. But I would find what works best for you. So experiment a little bit, see how you go in the morning, see how you do in the afternoon, see how you do in the evening. The most important thing about Restore, but also other like plant-based, because Restore is all plant-based ingredients. It's much more about consistency of use and getting them into your body consistently over a period of time than it is just about the absolute timing. There are some ingredients and some nutrients that it is time sensitive, timing around a meal. Obviously, something like active, right? You want to use active when you don't want to use active at night, right? But this is a different type of product. This is more about consistent daily use over time. If you are using it twice a day, our recommendation is before a meal. And I feel like that just kind of carves out a specific use case. So with Plexus, we have so many great products that people want to use multiple products. So we have to be kind of specific in that direction, not for a time because it's time sensitive, but it's just to give people a time to use it. So if you're using two scoops a day, do one before lunch, one before dinner, right? One before breakfast, one before lunch. But still, it's twice a day to get that overall dosage that's really going to help with weight loss.
So do you recommend, if weight loss is a goal, twice a day?
Yep. That's and again, based on the data. So we have like the yeast hydrolysate ingredient is a really, really strong ingredient in terms of helping to support appetite, which leads to weight loss. And the most compelling data, though, is when you were using a dose that's equivalent to 2 scoops a day. So to really take advantage of that science, take advantage of that weight loss research, the recommendation is 2 a day.
Okay. This just getting in the weeds, but can you do scoops at one time and get the
You
same,
could.
or it should be spaced out?
I space it out. It's my best recommendation. Obviously, people are going to have different use cases when they can use stuff, when they can't use stuff. If people are doing like time restricted feeding or intermittent fasting, they may be limited in their feeding opportunities. But if you can space it out, it really allows your body to take advantage of a larger window of time. So whether it's the appetite control benefits, and this is similar for a product like Some Hunger Control that has through a different pathway, but also offers appetite control, is that if you're taking advantage of, say, it's 4 to 6 hours of fullness that's going to allow you to make better food choices. If you extend that out to 2 servings, now that 4 to 6 hours turns into 8 to 12 hours.
Got it.
Versus if you just do a much larger dose, it's still probably about 4 to 6 hours.
Okay, good to know. Should someone gradually get to that 2 scoops a day? Like, should they start at one kind of level? Because I know we've saying cellular detox, obviously
Yep,
at a cellular level, sometimes with some physical side effects, which is totally welcome and normal. We train
yep,
our team like if you're introducing new things to your body, it's okay if there's some
absolutely.
growing pains. If you go to the gym, your muscles are sore. So
And anything's like that. And I feel like sometimes the supplement, Plexus or supplement companies, people see that as different. But if you ate just a normal healthy diet, when I say healthy, I mean lean proteins, fruits and vegetables, and you decide that I'm going to start eating McDonald's every day, guess what? Your body is going to be wrecked. Like it's like, so anytime you change, or vice versa, if you're somebody that eats McDonald's every day and then you start eating lean protein and fruits and vegetables, your body has to go through this adjustment period. So that adjustment period is going to look different for everybody. And it really depends on where they're coming at from a starting place.
okay,
So this is really just great advice for anybody. If you're working with a brand new person, it's always easier to start low and increase over time.
okay,
Whereas if you start too high, sometimes it's difficult to have that conversation about having them back off,
yeah,
because there's some, they're like, well, I didn't feel good with that, so I'm not sure I want to trust you now. But if you start low, you can always have them kind of work their way up. But really, it depends on where that individual is coming from in terms of health. And if they're in a good place health wise, starting 1 scoop a day, no issue at all. If it's somebody that's used reset in the past, no issue at all starting with one. And then for somebody that is in a really good place, two is totally fine as well. It's just that brand new person that is looking to make really big changes because they haven't been living a healthy lifestyle, right? They haven't been eating the right things, they haven't been doing the exercise, their body is not in a good place. They're the ones that need a little bit of work into it. But for folks who have been around for a while and are taking care of their body and have been consistent with Triplex and other products, no issue at all starting with one or two, just based on needs and goals.
awesome. Okay, perfect. So let's see. We answered that. We answered that. Is detox something to be afraid of? You answered that. Let's see. So I have a question. This was
Yep.
somebody asked me to ask you this. How, if you have somebody that's perimenopausal or menopausal and hormone and weight, they've got some weight issues, specifically with them, triplex, 2 scoops a day.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And again, and it's hard to give without knowing
Sure.
details of, and this isn't me just trying to skate by the answer,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
it's just trying to be reasonable of how we approach things, right? So just with a little bit of information, right? It's always hard to give. That's
Yeah.
why when you guys go to the doctor, right, you get there 15 minutes early to fill out the form, or you go online to fill out the forms now, and they talk to you about this and that, and they know your family history, they know your current health status, they know your blood work, they know, and then with all that little pieces of information, they can make a recommendation. So sometimes in my seat, it's and I try. So, but somebody who's kind of perimenopausal, premenopausal, triplex, restore, I think would be a great combination for people. But then other products based on needs and goals, right? So the nice thing about Plexus is we design everything to kind of work together, because we know that very few people come to Plexus and use one product, right? I mean, there's thousands of people that probably just only use Slim, but most people like the results, they like the way they feel, so then they add on. So so if you're a consistent collagen user, yep, you can continue to use collagen. You can, if you're a lean user, continue to use lean. But the addition of restore to your current routine, I think, is going to take advantage of new nutrients that you weren't getting previously.
Okay.
They're going to benefit the health of the liver, help your body to rid your body of some of these things like heavy metals and toxins that could be holding you back in other aspects of your health journey, right? So with this term heavy metals sometimes gets a I don't know, there's a lot of discussion around it, but people don't understand that we're exposed to those things all the time, whether it's from food or from water or from just environmental, and your liver does the job of helping to alleviate those things. But one of the places that we store heavy metals in our body is in fat. So body fat is something that
Okay.
stores like just heavy metals, right? It's a storage place. So as you start to lose weight, you go through this process known as lipolysis, which is the breakdown and the kind of release of fat, but that also releases heavy metals out into your body. And then your liver does its job of kind of diffusing and collecting those things. So if you are on a weight loss journey, supporting the health of your liver is also going to be important for that reason.
Interesting. Okay. So let me ask you this. Is Restore going to have, is it going to help with hormone balance? Does it impact it at all?
It's not, there's not a specific like ingredient that we included in there specifically for hormone balance, but what hormones are typically influenced by is overall health, right? So if you have, so we talk about like, stress related cravings. So if you're taking products like ingredients like magnolia and berberine, they're included to help with stress related cravings. But sometimes stress related cravings are related to hormone balance, right? But there's not something in there that's like specifically designed to help regulate estrogen or specifically designed to regulate thyroid hormones. But as your body gets healthier and as you improve health, hormone regulation sometimes occurs as like a secondary benefit to improving health. So it's
Okay.
very similar with like gut health, right? So if you're taking products to support gut health, secondary benefits can include like increased energy, increased, or improved skin complexion, and all these like secondary benefits, even though the primary purpose of the product was to support gut health influences everything. So I feel like overall health, liver health, gut health, hormones will kind of balance themselves in many instances. Now there are issues or situations where people have something going on that does require attention from a physician or somebody that has knowledge of health history and blood work. But I feel like supporting overall health, a lot of good things will happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Couple more questions. I'm gonna let you go.
Yep.
But
All right, great.
so Restore, is it, I know you said it can be daily use. Is it daily long-term use, or are there benefits to using it for a month on, a month off? What are your thoughts on that?
I think long-term consistent use is the best for plant-based ingredients like this. These are things, if you think about it, if you just kind of say it out loud too, right? It's spinach leaf concentrate, it's spirulina, it's aloe vera, it's hibiscus, it's magnolia, it's berberine. All these are from ginger, peppermint, from plant-based sources. These are great things that ideally we're getting from dietary sources. But the truth of the matter is we're not, right? Our diets aren't as good as they should be. We're not eating enough, plant-based foods. We're not eating enough antioxidant rich ingredients like spirulina and spinach leaf concentrate. So these are things that we should be getting in on a daily consistent basis. Now for some people it's they have to make decisions for lots of reasons, right? Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's timing. So using it intermittently, like once a quarter, once in the winter, once in the spring, once in the summer, once in the fall, is still better than not at all. But I feel like using it consistently over time is always going to be the best for these types of ingredients. And then secondary to that, using it, seasonally.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is so helpful. So just let me summarize. The
Sure.
average super avid athlete health person can benefit from long-term daily consistent use because it's going to support organs, which I
Yep.
think are super important to stay alive. Somebody who's been here a long
Last
time.
time I checked. Yep.
Yeah, last time I checked.
Yep.
It's a good thing to support those things. And then, you have these long-term loyal Plexus customers, and
Yep.
they always ask me like, well, how do I know if it's working? When should I add something new? This sounds like it's a good addition for most anybody, whether they've hit a plateau or even if they're just feeling unmotivated in their fitness.
Yeah.
I have found in my own fitness journey that if I'm doing something physically, it's automatically going to have a psychological impact and it's going to affect my food choices and my movement. So I feel like adding this in, even for those long-term loyal, slim only, or long-term loyal, I mean, anybody would benefit from adding this in.
I agree. But there are seasons of life, and maybe not, I think best case, you're using it consistently over time. But again, there's seasons of life and there's seasons of training. There's, you're getting ready for, you're going on a trip in the fall and you're going to be in Hawaii. Well, I better dial up the workouts a little bit more. I better really clean up my diet a little bit more. And then you go and then you come back and then maybe you're not at the same place, but then hey, the next big event's coming up, so workouts increase more. Like, so there's going to be seasons in life that things change where maybe you want to introduce it, right? Maybe you're getting ready. I mean, we're in July now, but as we get into the holiday season, and we know we're going to be surrounded by, all sorts of delicious, but not the most healthy foods, right? We're going to be at holiday parties, and we're going to be doing this and traveling and exposed to different stressors. And so maybe it's just a product you want to use consistently for the, last quarter of the year, right? So you're talking, October, November, December, you're on Restore consistently because that's when your body is under the greatest stress, whether it's environmental stress, food, the stress from food, your liver is being stressed for different reasons. So you have that flexibility. But I do think it's a product for really for everybody.
I love that. And then the last one, I could probably answer this, but small dose of Restore suitable for children. Are we allowed to say that?
So the thing about, and I have three little kids, is all kids are different, and at different ages they're different. So it's hard to make a generalization. There is nothing in the product that is, and again, we know our customer base very well, right? We have detailed conversations, and we know what's going on, and we know that people are going to have kids, so we're never going to put something in our products that is questionable or potentially dangerous.
Okay.
But when it comes to making decisions for kids, that's up to the parent, that's up to child's pediatrician, and that's something that you as a parent can make that decision. But for me to say, oh, your kids are, I don't know how old your kids are, I don't know anything about them, but as a parent you can look at it and say, hey, these are ingredients that I feel like would benefit my child. There's nothing in there that's dangerous. So that's really a parent's choice.
Perfect. Okay, last question. Why are you proud to be at Plexus? What is it about what we stand for, what we represent, where we're going that makes you proud to be here when there's a million, like you said, there's a million places
Yeah.
you could be?
Just stuff like that, right? Like it's the freedom and the ability to answer questions truthfully and honestly. We're not trying to say, oh, here, give it to your kids, give this to, we don't know. But we can say this is an educated opinion for a parent to make for their kid. But having a company that supports that, that's trying to do the right thing at every time and instance and opportunity. We're always trying to do what's best for the brand ambassadors. Balance that with what's best from a corporate standpoint. We do want to be around for a long time. We want to grow this business, globally, and but just having a company that is focused on that is great. Allowing me to do what I do. I have a great team of scientists that work with me, and we're happy to be here and happy to work with you guys. And this interaction is awesome.
Yeah, I love that y'all are here too. Okay, listen, I'm going to do something really brave and just make sure nobody else has any questions. So y'all don't embarrass me. I'm just kidding. Do y'all have questions for Dr. Hartman? Things that you want to know that we did not cover? No, there's no question that's a stupid question. Trust me, I was in his lab asking all kinds of silly things. So anything that you guys would like to know about our products or about science behind them, anything at all?
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, with the Restore, somebody who has cirrhosis to the liver, how will the Restore help that person?
Yeah, it's tough because it's going to provide nutrients that can help support the health of the liver. When you have like a diagnosis like cirrhosis, that means the liver has really taken a burden, and sometimes it's it's a genetic condition, sometimes it's a lifestyle condition, but at that point the liver is in a really poor place of health. So the nutrients in Restore, which are great, may not be powerful enough to help overcome that damage that's already been done. So that's where, when you have like a diagnosis like cirrhosis, that is something that needs kind of medical attention. There's probably some intervention from a prescription medication standpoint that needs to happen first, just to get the liver back up to a place of kind of average health. And then the benefits of Restore can really come into place. But when you have a diagnosis like that, it's sometimes tough to say, because how long have they had the condition? What caused the condition? Was it purely a genetic issue? Was it lifestyle factors? These all kind of play into that, but definitely will be helpful, but this may not be powerful enough to overcome, depending on the diagnosis and the degree of severity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question. What else?
I see there's a couple others I see in the chat. One about ProBio 5, one a day. I think one a day is a decent starting place, but I think going up to like 2 a day is ideal for most people. Using it for 2 months at 1 a day, I think you could definitely increase the dose. Probio 5 is a product combination of probiotics and enzymes, and there's definitely going to be some diminishing return. The more you take, you may not see any difference, but I feel like at a certain point, I think 2 is definitely better than 1.
I have a question on that
Yep.
while we're on Probio 5. Is there any benefit to alternating Probio 5 and Vital Biome? Should I
I
just
take both.
okay.
I feel like the benefits are because it's very strain specific. So ProBio 5 probiotic strains, but also has the enzymes. But like one of the strains, the Saccharomyces boulardii is something that really helps with intestinal yeast balance. You're not getting that necessarily in other places. So the combination of ingredients in ProBio 5 is similar to VitaBiome, but unique enough that I see value in taking both simultaneously.
Okay. And is it true that they need to be split up, like take the Vital Biome in the morning, or it doesn't matter?
I take them both at the same time. I feel like, again, because it comes down to when people take ProBio 5 at night, it gives the enzymes a little bit more time to work. People are taking it with BioCleanse, which is typically at night as well. So if that's what works best for them, stick with it. And I say this because I'm, pushing 50 now, is that I take them when I will remember to take them
Sure.
daily, consistently over time. So I take a lot of stuff first thing in the morning because that's the time that works best for me, right? So something like Mega X. A lot of people take Mega X at night before bed. Mega X is something that I take at mealtime. And again, I think taking anything that is kind of oil or fat based at mealtime, and this is also true for vitamins and minerals like X Factor, X Factor Plus, is your body's producing enzymes and gastric juices that helps to break down, and so body can better utilize those things. So I'm just very consistent with like Mega X at mealtime because it's just my routine, right? Could you say, well, you do it this time? I think consistency trumps timing in many cases.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. Cool. Y'all got any other questions for him?
I have a question about Slim.
Yep.
And how that stabilizes blood sugar for a diabetic.
Yep. So if you're working with a diseased population like diabetic, whether it's type 1 diabetic, type 2 diabetic, it's like, how long have they been diagnosed? If it's type 1, how much insulin are they using? Are they not? I mean, if it's type 2, what other medications are they on? The thing about like the way Slim works is chromium it's an essential trace mineral, and we use a very good form, chromium polynicotinate, that helps to improve insulin sensitivity. Insulin is what pulls glucose or sugar out of the blood and allows it to be stored in the muscle cell or the liver. So being able to pull sugar out of the blood or glucose out of the blood requires insulin. When you're taking a ingredient like chromium, your body needs less insulin to do that job effectively. What I don't know when you say diabetic is, are they on insulin? Are they not on insulin? How much insulin? What time is their insulin? So it's hard to say like for sure, but the way the product works is it improves your body's insulin sensitivity so that your body needs less insulin to pull glucose out of the blood. So typically when people have type 2 diabetes, it's also referred to as insulin resistance, is that even though their body is producing insulin, it can't utilize it effectively to pull glucose out of the blood. So an ingredient like chromium helps to improve that situation. Sorry, it got real.
If I could just bury you in my
it got real dense right there, so I apologize. It wasn't, but that's how that's how chromium works, and that's how Slim helps to support that.
Very helpful.
I have a quick question about
Sure.
We have the one combo pack that has the triplex in it with the balance. And at Christmas time, when the balance, it was really promoted to take that with the hunger control black cherry lime, that the two are working synergistically together. So when I'm like talking to a prospect about, recommendations, that particular combo has an option for one Slim packet in it. And so sometimes I find myself not sure if I should recommend the black cherry lime hunger control because of the balance, But then my mind also goes to, well, the microbiome activating is necessary because it works synergistically with the probio5 and the biocleanse. And it kind of leaves me in this place sometimes of not knowing which one to recommend.
Yeah.
And so I just love to hear your thoughts on that. And is there any prebiotic in the hunger control at all? Or so yeah, I just need to hear something on that.
Yeah.
Clarification.
It's a great question, not uncommon. And yes, so the polydextrose in hunger control that helps support the body's production of GLP-1, it does confer prebiotic benefits, but the prebiotic in some MBA is a dedicated, very strong, clinically studied prebiotic. That's what the patent is tied to for improving gut health. So and this is a really bad analogy, but I feel like it makes a lot of sense that if you were going to Home Depot or Lowe's to pick up a bunch of wood, you had some wood project, you could put a bunch of wood in a minivan and get it home, right? But if you knew your job was to go to Lowe's or Home Depot every day to bring home wood, you would buy a truck, right? A truck is a dedicated tool for that purpose, hauling stuff. But you can make it work in a minivan too, right? And that's how I see like the prebiotic benefit of some hunger control. Yes, it does provide prebiotic benefit because prebiotics are fibers and polyphenols, and that's just feeding beneficial bacteria. But if you want a dedicated prebiotic that is very clinically well studied, that is going to work well with probio5, support gut health, that's now part of this patent, then that's MBA. So that's part of that. The thing about the combo of black cherry, lime, and balance, it's a great combination together. I think it's simple, it's effective. It really is going to really provide a lot of health benefits. And I think like the bundling of that just makes sense for a lot of people, right? I think for new people coming in, sometimes they get overwhelmed by taking this product at this time, this product at this time, this product. But just starting people in simple, drink this, take these 2 capsules. I feel like that's a great entry into the system of improving health. If you had to pick one, I feel like hunger control is a great option to help support weight. You're still getting the blood sugar support, you're getting other benefits. But if you're somebody that really wants to focus and improve gut health, then Slim MBA is designed specifically for that and patented by the United States government for its ability to do so.
Okay, so for that particular combo that has the balance in it, just go ahead and lean more to, because if they're looking at that as an option, typically they're probably having thinking thoughts about wanting to lose some weight. So just
lose some weight, absolutely.
Hunger.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good, and again, just from and you can always make the case and have the conversation and figure out what is going to be best for them. But if you're working with a new person that's coming in, and they're just, hey, what can I do to feel better and lose some weight? That's a great starting point. But I think ultimately triplex is going to be the best long-term option, just because the gut does so much. And if you can really support the gut, all these other great benefits are going to happen as like a secondary benefit.
Thank you.
So good. Well, Dr. Hartman, thank you so much. I actually will be out in your neck of the woods next week for Joel School, so I will see you then. I'm sure
I will not be here. I hate to miss it. Every summer I volunteer at a summer camp for foster kids.
Oh, wow.
It's always the timing of it's always like there's always something else going on, but that's just one thing I'm kind of dedicated to, and
For you.
it's a great experience. So I will be out like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I missed the whole, but unfortunately my team will be here and you'll get the
I'll
tour.
ask them my silly questions then.
That's all right.
I was going to pitch a fit.
And what they'll say is you should talk about that.
That's exactly what they'll say. That's exactly what they'll say. And listen, I was going to pitch a fit that you weren't going to be there, but then I'd be a brat because you're going to go volunteer at a camp for foster kids. So
oh yeah, it's one of the best things I do every year. And I trust me, I hate to miss stuff, but it's everything in life you got to kind of prioritize, right? So
absolutely. Well, good for you for having that non-negotiable. Another reason why I love Plexus. So
that's stuff like that, right? It's not even a question of hey, could you miss that? It's just like, oh great, have fun. Take as much time as you need, come back,
love it. Definitely come back. Definitely.
Oh no, absolutely. Trust me, after 4 days with, and they're all teenage boys that truthfully just don't have a strong, male influence in their life. So it's something that I feel like is, important. But after 4 or 5 days with a bunch of 13, 15-year-olds,
Yeah, you're ready. to get back
it's
to
plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. A wealth of knowledge. Listen, we need to do this quarterly. I feel like we would have new questions every quarter. So thank you for just giving
Absolutely.
so
I'm
generously.
super happy to help. Glad we could figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was on the live, it felt like it was probably the closest to feeling like a ghost in the room, where I was listening and you were like, "Oh, we're just waiting for Dr. Hartman to join." It's like, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, well,
Just,
you felt like a ghost, and I felt like the
no,
dork.
no. But just like I'm glad we could make it work. Hope you
Yeah.
guys have a great day and a great summer.
Thanks, Doc. See you
Take
later.
care. Bye.
Bye.